The clown. I lived in an extremely small town in the countryside, so everyone knew each other, went to each other's houses and so on, and there was a certain family, who lived further away from the center, who everyone loved, including my family. My best friend was hers. And in mid-June or July 2018, they announced that they would move to the capital, and everyone was surprised because they always said they would never move, and that news affected me completely. They moved in mid-September. I managed to say goodbye to everyone, and my best friend, but he didn't have a cell phone, which meant I wouldn't have contact with him for a long time. I wasn't there anymore. I didn't talk to anyone. I didn't want to leave the house. I didn't want to do absolutely anything anymore. Just lie in my bed, lamenting, even if it wasn't going to come to anything. The route I took to go to school was right in front of their street, and their old house was the last one. At the end of the street it was a dead-end street. I returned home at approximately 7:40 p.m. I remember to this day. It was Monday. I was coming home. It was already completely dark. When I went down the street, there were some street lights lighting up the last house my best friends, who no longer lived there, and there, where the last street light projected the last light, the figure of a clown. I was completely shocked and paralyzed. I didn't know what to do. I just stared at that thing. I could see some of the colors. His face was completely white. He had a look on his face completely serious. He wore a two-color outfit, a faded yellow, and what looked like a very light blue, or a green, and he held 3 balloons, one red, one blue, and one more yellow. I thought it was just a bad joke. Even though I was scared, I headed towards my house. When I got there, my mother was making dinner. I just greeted her, and went to my room watch a movie or series. It wasn't even half an hour after I got home. I was lying in my bed, and the light went out, and darkness took over everything. At the same time I took out my cell phone and turned on its flash, and I'll walk around the house. Mom first time, Mom second time, Mom third time. On the fourth, the sound of a slamming door echoed like a very loud crash behind me. I turned around very quickly, to see the scene that would traumatize me the most to this day. My mother, hanging from a rope, hanged, was covered in fresh blood, which suggests that it happened now, but I didn't hear anything. I have no idea how this could have happened. Her organs were out, hanging, as were her eyes, bulging out of their sockets, and behind her, the clown, who smiled miserably. I just started crying and crying. I started running completely desperate through the streets, where I got a taxi. With great difficulty, I managed to give the address of my aunt and uncle's house, which was in another city, but was relatively. As he saw my situation, for some reason he didn't make me pay. He just left me at my destination, and I frantically knocked on each door. After a long time of talking, we were all crying, trying not to imagine what that stupid clown did to my mother, the mother I loved so much. I was only 11 years old. After a few days, I had to go back to my old house to get the body, but since that happened, I've changed even more for the worse. I cried all day. I didn't leave my room. I got bad grades and I continued living with my aunt and uncle. But nothing, absolutely nothing, takes away the image of that clown, smiling, while my mother was dead, right in front of him. I think I'm going crazy. Every corner I go, I keep seeing that clown, just like he was in my house.